I think a week since my last video. I don't even know. I don't know where the time is gone. I don't know what's happened, but I am going to say this again. I am consistently inconsistent. It's something I'm really working hard on, but it seems like things just get in the way and I cannot get in here and do this video. Maybe if I didn't try to teach, like gather all this information together and try to actually teach you something, I could make videos about who knows what, but doesn't I just really feel like I need to teach. So anyway, we're still on anxiety, and I've actually had a little anxiety about not getting back in here and finishing the anxiety talk. But anyway, it's been an interesting week for sure. It's cold. It's so cold here. It's just crazy how cold it is. No snow though, thank God we aren't in that swath of upper north of the United States. It's getting all that snow right now, but we're cold and it's breezy, and I don't like it. But anyway, whatever, it will soon pass. So we've been talking about anxiety. Just to give you a little recap, we talked about what it is, what the symptoms are, and that's symptoms that include your cognitive symptoms, your physical symptoms that are expressed if you have anxiety, and behavioral symptoms that are expressed if you have anxiety. We talked about what is going on in the brain in relationship to anxiety. What is happening inside that brain of ours that, changes when we have anxiety. Um, we also talked about what if it's not anxiety? What if there's something underlying that needs to be diagnosed so that you're treated adequately and appropriately? I also went through the main therapies for anxiety, including medication therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, that sort of thing. And now we're down to my favorite part, which is talking about plant medicine. So, starting with essential oils. So, the oils and the cannabinoids in cannabis plants have terpenes. It's the terpenes that actually create the response that we're looking for. So, without going into all the terpenes specifically, there are particular oils that we know will help address anxiety issues. And that first one is lavender. Lavender is one of my all-time favorites. It's also really good for other stuff like skin issues. Like, oh gosh, I cut my finger one time, dropped a drop of it was bleeding, dropped a drop of lavender on there, and I watched it coagulate right before my eyes. It just stopped bleeding. So it's an amazing essential oil. Another one that can promote calm and rest, can actually help reduce your heart rate. These all will do that. Is orange. Lemon is also one for that purpose. Roman chamomile, valerian, melissa, which is also called lemon balm, copaiba, and ylang ylang are all really good oils to that are used to address anxiety issues or stress issues. There are a few special blends that I use from my favorite oil company, which has actually the best oils on the planet, and that's Young Living, and that would be Stress Away, Peace and Calming, Angelica, Release, and Surrender. So those oils, how do they work? So when you inhale the oil through your nose, it goes into the nose, goes to the olfactory bulb, which lies right behind your nose up in there. It kind of is the part between your back of your nose and your brain. So it goes to that olfactory bulb, and then it goes right into the limbic portion of your brain. That part of the brain is responsible for memories and emotion. So when you smell the oils, those little molecules that exist in essential oils go through that process into the limbic portion of the brain, and as a result of that, you have a decrease in anxiety, stress symptoms, that sort of thing. So a good example would be like, let's just say your grandmother made the best apple pie you ever put in your mouth. And so when you were a kid, you'd go to grandma's house and she'd have that apple pie baking in the oven, and you would smell the apples and the cinnamon and the crust and all that stuff, and it was just, oh, you couldn't wait for it to come out of the oven and cool off so you could have a piece. And so when you think of grandma, you think of her wonderful apple pie. And so when you smell an apple pie later on in your life, that smell is going to trigger that memory of grandma. So it's because you inhaled the smell through your nose, went to the limbic portion of your brain where memories and emotions are created, and so that's why forever and ever, amen, you're going to smell an apple pie and think of grandma. So the oils work the same exact way. They affect your memories and they affect your emotions. And you can also kind of incorporate it with, I think something just got broken downstairs. You can also incorporate that with what you tell yourself. You know, if you're speaking negative thoughts, you're going to have more anxiety. If you're speaking positive thoughts to yourself, your anxiety will lessen with or without oils, but it's just that much better with oils. All right, so the next thing is your cannabis and your CBD options. We have, and you guys have heard me say this over and over again, it's your endocannabinoid system. It loves cannabis and CBD. So when you use cannabis THC, you can actually worsen anxiety because the THC has the psychoactive portion of the cannabinoids. And so you've used THC and all of a sudden you're high and you're not used to it, or maybe it was too much or it was the wrong chemo bar or something. And so it actually worsens your anxiety. So that's not a pleasant experience for a lot of people. But the CBD is what you use to reduce anxiety. It's not wrong to use cannabis if it works for you, but the key here is to use a very small dose of THC to a much larger dose of CBD. So you would use like a 25 milligram CBD to a 1 milligram THC, and you're not really going to feel the effects of the THC when it's that low. Now, if you combine your CBD with your essential oils, you've got the best of both worlds. It's awesome. Chemo bars that are good for, that are cannabis chemo bars, if you want to use that to address anxiety, you need to look for ones that are high in levels of limonene terpenes. And that is also found in your lemon essential oil or your orange essential oil. So it's limonene. That will help reduce anxiety. I worked with a girl once that when she was a kid, her mom, or I think her grandmother raised her, but when she was a kid, her grandmother would put oranges on the stove, orange peel and orange, and just cook it down like a potpourri. And so she always smelled orange at grandma's house, and that was a smell that was very pleasing to her, brought back a lot of good memories. So we were working one day, and she said something, she was stressed out, and I said, well, here, smell the orange, and she just ate it up. I'm not kidding. She was in heaven after smelling that orange. Her whole mentation changed after that. So other chemo bars that you might look for that have cannabis or THC in them would be Tangerine Dream and OG Kush. Those two are very high in the limonene terpenes. Another relaxing terpene is linalool and myrcene. So linalool is in the lavender essential oil. Myrcene, I'm not sure. I'd have to look that one up to confirm that. But you want a lower level of myrcene too. You don't want a higher level of that one. But you can find these particular terpenes in chemo bars like any of the purple varieties of cannabis or Bubba Kush. CBD chemo bars that are very, very effective in reducing anxiety would be Zeta, which is ZETA, and any of the cookies varieties. These are known for shifting or improving mood, stimulating motivation, and soothing anxiety. You just need a little bitty bit of this, especially if it isn't mostly CBD. So you want, again, more CBD, less THC if you're struggling with anxiety. So if you're experiencing anxiety on a regular basis, you really should seek help from your mental health professional, get some counseling. You can do some testing now that is really, really good for checking how your body metabolizes medications. It's called a GeneSight test. Not everybody does them, not everybody knows about them, but they're a great test. So what happens is it's just a cheek swab. You grab some DNA out of the cheek, send it in to their lab, and you get a report back that tells you how you metabolize medication. The medications that they're looking at are your antidepressants, your anti-anxieties, your mood stabilizers, your antipsychotics, your medications for ADHD, your hypnotics, so like your sleep aids and stuff like that. So you'll get a report back that will say if you're a normal metabolizer, and then that means that you could take those medications okay without any adverse reactions or effect. And then you also have a column that might say, yeah, you probably better not take this one, but you could. You just need to adjust the dose a little bit. So in that case, you might over metabolize the medication. So you're a fast metabolizer. That means you've taken the med. It's not doing its normal half-life in your body because of your DNA. So that means that medication is gone way sooner than it needs to be. So you might have to have a higher dose of the medication or take more frequent doses. Or you could be a slow metabolizer, which means when you take your medication, it kind of builds up in your system. And so you need a lesser dose and you can have more side effects with that sort of scenario. So that's another thing that could be done. So if you're really struggling with anxiety, you need to go to your provider and get help. You can do a GeneSight test. You can do counseling. If you want some coaching, you can connect with me for that, and we will try to pinpoint down to what it is you actually need and what will help you. So that is it. Please let me know what you want me to talk about, because it takes me a little bit to get it together to get the information ready. So if you give me a heads up, I can work on it. All right. Y'all have the best day.